The 10th year of running after Ethan. Because of a trivial matter. He brought me in front of everyone. Lulu. You pretended to be stupid when you were young, are you still so foolish now? After saying that, he took the hand of the person he called Stella, intertwined their fingers, and raised them in front of me. Lulu. You like me, don't you? It's pretty obvious. But after today, you should put away those feelings for me. I nodded, calmly clearing away everything related to him. The 10th year. I chose to let go. The 10th year of running after Ethan. And he had grown to despise me. Because of something trivial. For me, hadn't fulfilled my obsession. An answer that was as ordinary as it gets became his weapon to attack me. That day, I prepared a gift and went to his birthday party. A helmet he liked, which I had saved my pocket money for months to buy, asking my brother to help me get it. On the way there, I thought he would be very happy. But when I arrived at the party, I opened the door to the room and saw that the lively atmosphere was gone. The people I knew were all sitting upright, their faces serious. I turned my head and saw a girl in Ethan's arms. He was gently comforting her. And for some reason, I felt that the atmosphere was wrong. I held the gift in my hands, and one of the people I knew made a gesture to me, signaling for me to leave. I didn't understand. Today was Ethan's birthday, why should I leave? I walked toward Ethan, carrying the gift. Happy birthday, Ethan. This is my gift for you. I hope you're happy every day. I lifted the gift and met his gaze. But the next moment, Ethan knocked the gift out of my hands. I was confused, thinking that he hadn't held it properly. I bent down to pick it up. When I stood up, Ethan was quietly speaking to the girl in his arms. And it took a while before she got out of his embrace. I saw her face clearly. And I had seen her before. Just as I was about to greet her, the gift in my hands was taken away by Ethan. He gave a light laugh and then pulled a helmet out of the gift box. Is this the helmet you told Stella I liked? Lulu. I had only told one person about this. And that was the girl he was holding, Stella. I nodded. And almost immediately, Ethan threw the helmet onto the floor with force. It shattered into pieces, scattering all around. I stared at the broken pieces of the helmet, at a loss for what to do. Lulu. You're so malicious. Do you know Stella worked 3 or 4 jobs a day to get me this helmet? If it weren't for me running into Stella today, do you know she almost got bullied? Ethan dragged me in front of everyone. His grip was so strong that I almost stumbled. Now you bring this helmet as my birthday gift, what do you mean by this? Are you trying to embarrass Stella on purpose? Apologize. Now. Apologize. I hadn't done anything wrong. I had simply answered her question. Nothing more. My brother had told me that I should never apologize for something I hadn't done wrong. I won't. I'm not wrong. Ethan. Don't make Lulu apologize. It's all my fault. Don't ruin your friendship because of me. The girl's timid voice sounded. And I looked over to see her instinctively move closer to Ethan. Well, Lulu. Don't follow me around anymore. It's been years. And aren't you tired of it? When you were little, you were slow and naive. As your neighbor, I helped you because there was no other choice. But now you're grown up, so are you still so foolish? You're not an idiot. Lulu. You're already 17. You're not a child anymore. So don't keep using your stupidity as an excuse to be around me. Stop pretending you don't understand and then shamelessly cling to me. This is really annoying. And it makes people dislike you. After saying this, he took Stella's hand again, interlocked their fingers, and raised them in front of me. Lulu. You like me, don't you? It's pretty obvious. But after today, put away those feelings for me. Let me introduce you, this is my girlfriend. I can't even remember how I got home that day. When Ethan said those words, I was frozen in place. People I knew tried to speak up for me. But without exception, they were all shut down by Ethan. He called me malicious, scheming, said that it didn't matter that I came from a wealthy family. In his eyes, I would never compare to the girl beside him. I couldn't understand why the person who once promised to protect me forever would speak to me with such cruelty. When my brother appeared by my side, I was crying uncontrollably. I think I've messed everything up. Brother. Ethan hates me now. He hates me. Brother. He told me never to appear by his side again. But it's been so many years. And I really like him. I really like him. Tears dripped onto the back of my hand. It turns out that loving someone can be so painful. That day, my brother told me that no one stays the same forever. Everyone has their own life. Everyone will meet someone they like. We must accept that the person we like might not like us back. All we can do is accept it. But it's so hard to accept. When we moved here, I was 6. I don't know why. But I've always been a little slow. It's not that I'm stupid. Just that I'm a little slow in many ways. For example, when I played games with the kids in kindergarten, I was always the one who lost, and I knew everyone was laughing behind my back. I knew. Really. Once, when we were playing roles, the kids argued a lot. And when it came to my turn, only the role of a horse was left. One kid insisted on making me lie on the ground for him to ride, but it was Ethan who stepped up to protect me. He called me silly that time. But I knew he didn't actually think I was stupid. Otherwise, why would he protect me? He's just like what my brother always says, tough on the outside, soft on the inside. Since then, I've always been by Ethan's side. And I've followed him for 10 years. That night, I cried until late. My brother was right. I've grown up now. I can protect myself. I thought. I've grown up. I don't need a knight anymore. I packed all the gifts Ethan had given me, everything that had to do with him, into a box. I don't have many things I'm certain about, but Ethan is one of them. Which is why I followed him for 10 years. But now, I've decided not to follow him anymore. This decision, like all others, is final. The summer quickly passed, and with the start of the new semester, I hadn't sought out Ethan since the last term. A new classmate joined us this semester. She was beautiful. The kind of girl who immediately inspires a protective instinct. She was the girl Ethan had once held in his arms. It was at that moment I learned her name, Stella. A lovely name. The school uniform she wore seemed to fit her effortlessly, making her look even more appealing. After class, she came up to me, something I hadn't expected. "Hi, Lulu." The last time wasn't intentional. I nodded but didn't answer. Just then, someone kicked my desk with a loud crash. I turned around to find Jiju, dressed in the school uniform. His eyes were filled with impatience as they met mine. "Why the attitude, Lulu?" I sensed all eyes on us. It made sense. Ethan's family was wealthy. He was handsome. And his grades were excellent. He was popular. I quietly adjusted my desk, not responding to him. "Don't act dumb. Don't play mute, Lulu." Every time Ethan used my full name, it meant he was angry. In the past, I would lower my head, but now that I had decided to cut ties with him, everything about him no longer concerned me. "It's okay. Ethan. Can I call you Lulu? I just transferred here and only know Ethan. Could we switch seats?" I nodded quietly and said okay before starting to pack my things. Soon enough, I had cleared my space. My new seatmate, Felix, was a top student. He had ranked first in the grade for 2 years, with a large gap between him and a second-place student. As I stared at the test paper, struggling to solve the problems, I couldn't help but agree with what the adults always said: Southern High was tough. Substitute the formula. A cold voice broke my concentration, and I turned to find Felix beside me. His gaze met mine, and I felt a little surprised he was actually explaining the problems to me. I listened carefully, having fulfilled and by the end of the self-study session, I had learned a lot. The conclusion? Felix was a good guy. After class, I pulled out a can of milk from my bag and placed it on his desk. "Bribing me?" His voice was as pleasant as ever. The milk rested in his hands. And even his hands were beautiful. I shook my head. "This is a thank you gift. My mother always said that if someone helps you, you should show your gratitude." Felix had explained a problem to me 3 times because I couldn't understand. In the past, when Ethan helped me with problems, he would gloss over the explanation. The questions were simple to him. He was smart, and I had known that since I was little. But I wasn't that smart. So when I didn't understand after his first explanation, He would get frustrated, scolding me for not paying attention in class. But I listened carefully. I didn't blame him. My mother once told me that the world should allow for people who aren't as smart to exist. Besides, I wasn't stupid. I just took a little longer to grasp things. Still, I was lucky. I was healthy. My family was happy. Contentment brings happiness, I thought. I was truly content. I turned my gaze towards Ethan, who was smiling brilliantly at Stella, as he doted on her. A wave of discomfort washed over me. I tried to console myself. 10 years was too long. I just needed a little time. Then I'll accept it. In P.E., there were 16 girls and 14 boys in the class. The teacher was demonstrating sit-ups, and the sports monitor was recording. Stella, the new girl, was the odd one out. She stood by the mat, looking a bit helpless. Her eyes red. But it didn't really concern me. I had my own partner. I knelt on my partner's legs to help hold them down when I noticed a pair of familiar shoes. Looking up, I wasn't surprised to see Ethan. Lulu, go help Stella with her legs. I have my own partner, I replied, not wanting to talk to him. I had made my decision. But then Ethan suddenly raised his voice. A sharp tone in it. Lulu, are you done causing trouble? You're really going to hold this against her? Fine. I admit my words were a little harsh that day. But you don't need to always target Stella. I didn't want to argue with him. Not at all. Even though his words stung. It felt like needles in my heart. I stayed silent. Not responding. Ethan didn't seem ready to leave. Just staring at my partner. Hey. You go join Stella. Don't you like that celebrity G something? I'll get you front row tickets to his concert. As soon as Ethan's words fell, the girl I was holding down looked awkwardly at me. I could tell she was hesitant to say something. Then she stood up, apologized to me, and walked over to Stella. Now I had no partner. Once Ethan left, the sports monitor came over. Are all your partners sorted out? I'm starting now. The sun wasn't even that strong. But it felt like everyone had abandoned me. In that moment, I almost wanted to cry. Wait. Felix came up to me. His head shorter than mine. I'll help you with your legs. I hadn't even said thank you before a voice from the crowd interrupted. Hero saving the beauty. Huh? That day, I barely passed the sit-up test. I ran to the shop to buy a bottle of water during their testing time and managed to get back just in time. Felix took the water from me and smiled. Is this also a thank you gift? I nodded. I slightly bent down, my gaze level with his. And he said, desk mate, there's no need for us to be so formal. After a week of spending time together, I was certain Felix was truly an incredibly good person. Now that I'm older, I would never again run after him like I used to. To show my gratitude, I unilaterally decided that from now on, I would take care of his breakfasts. Because, from what I observed over the past week, he never really ate breakfast. But skipping breakfast isn't good for your health. And without proper nutrition, your body will get sick. And if he gets sick, no one will be there to help me with my lessons. That definitely wouldn't do. On the other side, Lulu hasn't talked to you yet? I'm just saying. At your birthday party last time, you really went too far. And that incident in PE class. Not just too far. You basically rubbed Lulu's face in the dirt. Do you really have to treat her like that? I think Lulu's really angry this time. A few friends were playing video games in Ethan's room. And in the next second, they were all annihilated by him. The room was filled with groans of despair. And Ethan tossed the controller aside, responding nonchalantly. She'll come looking for me. It's always been this way for all these years. The topic was picked up by another friend. But it's never been this long before. At most, it was just a few days. This time, it's been almost half a month, you know? And I heard you're getting close to the top student in your class. And Lulu too. I heard that too. Honestly, Lulu's pretty cute. Her smile is really sweet. Ethan felt a twinge of irritation at these words. But still continued the conversation. She's so dumb. Maybe the top student can't stand it and decided to guide her. She's not really mad at me. She's just sulking. The game began a new round. Maybe not. Back in middle school, she had a friend she was really close to. She was so loyal, spending money and energy on them. But then that person talked behind her back. And she found out. She cried so much. And when it came time to resolve it, she cut them off completely. No words for 3 whole years. Don't be fooled by Lulu's innocent and silly demeanor. If she decides on something, she won't change. No matter what. Ethan felt uneasy hearing this. As he knew the story, he was shocked when it happened. At the time, he thought Lulu would give in after a week at most. But to his surprise, she held out for 3 years. That person tried countless times to make amends, but failed every time. Thinking about it, he chuckled bitterly. How could Lulu be so harsh on herself? He knew how much she liked him. In the past, she had always come back after such things. This time wouldn't be any different. Soon, had out a low sigh. The weekend arrived. My mom invited Ethan's parents to dinner for a collaboration. It had nothing much to do with me. The door opened, and I was studying English vocabulary. Without thinking, I called out, "Brother, is something wrong?" No response. "Lulu." It wasn't my brother. It was Ethan. I put my vocabulary book down on my desk and stood up. Ethan surveyed my room and finally pointed to the crystal rabbit and the co-branded cup on my glass shelf. "Where's the crystal rabbit you left there? And the co-branded cup?" I put them away. Ethan stepped forward. And I backed away, my back against the wall. "Lulu, it's been so many days now. You should have calmed down." What I said that day was all out of anger. There's no need to keep this up, is there? Why can't you just be friends with Stella? She's a really nice person. Don't keep shutting yourself off and thinking the worst of everyone. Stella. I didn't know when, but lately, every conversation with Ethan seemed to circle around her. After all these days, I looked at Ethan carefully once again. He was good looking. I had known that since we were little. Back then, countless people would ask me to deliver love letters to him. I never really refused. Though I didn't want to do it. I still did it, and it was always him who told me to learn to refuse. To reject people I didn't like. To refuse things I didn't want to do. Who would always protect me? People had to grow up. I had accepted his kindness before. And now I had to accept his harsh words too, but I was still very careful about who I chose to be close to. "Afon, Ethan." I took it seriously. I said each word carefully, making sure he understood. "So, I've decided to follow your advice and stay far away from you. And about Stella. I don't like her. I don't want to be friends with her. Don't worry. I won't cling to you like I used to." Ethan looked around the room, now devoid of anything that reminded him of himself. And a feeling of discomfort welled up in his chest. He hadn't given her many gifts. Only a few on her birthdays. Each time, Lulu would treat them like treasures and place them carefully in her glass cabinet. Even the hairpins he bought her would be meticulously kept. Her room used to be filled with traces of him. But now, there was nothing. Looking at the emptiness, he felt strangely annoyed. "Why didn't you say you wanted to cut ties with me when you'd done this countless times before? Lulu? Why this time? Of all times? You're telling me it's not because of Stella? I told you. She's a really nice person. Your stubbornness couldn't you put it to better use?" And it was the same as always. He always said things that made her heart ache. She didn't want to argue anymore. Ethan had already made up his mind. And so had she. Excusing herself for dinner, she closed the door behind her. At the dinner table, she quietly ate her food. The adults exchanged pleasantries. And suddenly, someone placed a shrimp in her bowl. "I remember you like this. Right?" She pushed the shrimp aside and didn't respond. "You've really become quiet as you've grown up. Hurry up and thank Ethan." "Lulu." She nodded, accepting her mother's words. "Thank you. Ethan. But I don't like it anymore. I've eaten it so many times I'm sick of it." By Monday, a full breakfast was laid out on Felix's table. There were several types of milk alone. And Felix was stunned when he walked in. "What's all this?" Lulu? Looking at Felix, who had arrived late, she replied, "Breakfast. Though I promised to bring you breakfast." "This is a bit much," don't you think? I didn't know what you liked. Under her gaze, Felix sat down and picked up a bun, soy milk, and a fried egg. This is enough for me. She nodded and patted the back of the person sitting in front of her. Do you want some breakfast? I actually haven't eaten yet. Looks like I'm getting a taste of the university genius's perks. After several days, Felix privately found me. Lulu, you don't have to be so obvious in trying to please me. We're desk partners. It's an equal relationship. I had been so obvious? I thought I was being cautious. I'm just not quick to respond. You're very patient with me. But I'm scared of wasting too much of your time. Afraid that you won't want to explain things to me anymore. I want to get into Kira University. Really badly. There's only one semester left. They all say it's impossible for me. And I know my grades aren't great. But I don't want to give up on you. No, I mean, give up on you helping me. I finished saying all of that in one breath. And instead of a rejection, I got Felix's smile. He gently ruffled my hair. I got a recommendation. Your desk partner is ambitious and works hard. I'll definitely help you. If there's anything you don't understand, you can always ask me. But don't keep saying thank you or giving me candy every time I explain something. I'm doing this voluntarily. Not because you're forcing me. Lulu, don't feel burdened by me. Go ahead and pursue your dream boldly. I declared that Felix was the best person in the class. No, in the world. When the results of the midterm came out, I had made great progress. Ethan had dropped in the rankings. And even scored lower than me in some subjects. I knew one of his papers was left blank. He was just too exhausted. I overheard them talking about Stella's mother being very sick. Ethan not only paid for her hospitalization but also arranged for her to be transferred to a better hospital. He even hired a nurse at an exorbitant cost. Every evening after study hall, he would accompany Stella to take care of her mother. They said that love starting in South High was the most unforgettable. And they also said Ethan and Stella were a perfect match. I thought that hearing about Ethan and someone else would make me very sad, but it didn't. In the midst of the stressful, hard-working month, I didn't think about Ethan too much. I thought as long as I stayed out of their business, everything would have nothing to do with me. But in the end, I was wrong. After school, Stella blocked my way on the way home. She stared at me with a determined look. Lulu, I know you and Ethan are a perfect match. I also know I'm not good enough for him. But I really love Ethan. And we love each other. Don't try to break us up. I put my backpack on. Looking at Stella, who wouldn't move. Are you sick? When have I ever tried to break you two up? Move out of the way. I have to go home for extra lessons. Seeing she wouldn't budge, I tried to move past her. But she followed my every step, muttering words to herself. If you hadn't told Ethan's mother, how would she have come to me? It's true Ethan doesn't like you. I believe I've done nothing wrong. Why are you treating me like this? Back and forth. I was getting annoyed and stopped. Do I need to tell on you? Doesn't Ethan's mother notice? Ethan's grades have dropped so much. Why don't you go question his mother directly? You think I'm easy to bully. So you keep saying these things that will make others misunderstand. What exactly do you want? What Ethan likes or doesn't like, who he's with, has nothing to do with me. I have my own life. What are you two to me? Why should I waste my time trying to break you up? Stella still just stared at me with stubborn eyes. Her eyes red. I walked towards an empty space again. And she followed me. Then, she suddenly tripped and fell to the ground with a soft thud. Before I could react, someone shoved me aside, and my arm hit the wall. I felt the pain on my shoulder and heard the call of Stella. Without seeing the face of the person rushing towards me, I could almost tell who it was. Lulu, why did you push Stella? It's okay. Athan. It wasn't Lulu's fault. I just lost my balance. You always do this. Bearing all the grievances alone. I watched their interaction. Ethan's accusations without any consideration. And suddenly felt so tired and exhaustion deep in my heart. I raised my hand and pointed to the nearby security camera. There's a camera there. Also, Elishto, please move aside. Ethan reached out to block me. You're not leaving. Apologize first. There's no reason to not apologize when you push someone. You've been following me for 10 years. And I've never taught you this kind of thing. 10 years. It was him who told me not to always give in. Not to let people think I was easy to bully. That whatever happened, he would always be there to back me up. 10 years. While the person who spoke forgot their promises, I still remembered. Lulu, don't be afraid. Your desk partner's got your back. Just when I was on the verge of tears, I turned around and saw Felix, standing with his book bag slung over one shoulder, in his clean school uniform. Without hesitation, I stepped back and stood by Felix's side. Felix pulled my hat forward, and the slightly too big brim almost covered half my face. Didn't you hear Lulu's answer? There's a camera right there. And, classmate, accusing others without thinking, did you feed your 9 years of compulsory education to the dogs? And a good dog doesn't block the way. I could only hear Felix's voice. What's it to you? This is between Lulu and me. What are you even doing here? I felt the weight on my shoulder, then a shift in momentum, and instinctively leaned against Felix. My head landed on his shoulder. My desk partner's business is my business. Besides, I think Lulu doesn't want to talk to you right now, or communicate with you. I nodded. Then, let out a low sigh, amidst the sound of Stella crying out in pain from her twisted ankle. It all ended. Felix walked me to the school gate. I thanked him, and he told me to keep going. March was nearing its end, and I really needed to step up my game. I had to give it my all. I threw myself entirely into my studies. So much so that when my birthday came in April, my brother suggested throwing me an 18th birthday celebration, a coming-of-age party, to relax and enjoy. I wasn't very interested. I was already 18. Time really flew by. My brother promised it wouldn't take up much of my time. You still have to celebrate your 18th. So make some time for me. Looking at my brother's face, I agreed. My birthday was on Saturday, and I was relieved it wasn't during school time. I invited a few familiar faces. When the day finally arrived, I never expected it to be so extravagant. The cake alone had 8 layers, decorated with butterflies, and topped with a chocolate version of my cartoon image. I was wearing a formal dress my brother had bought for me, and looking down from the top of the stairs. The whole villa was extravagantly decorated. My brother appeared beside me, and I couldn't help but say, "Brother, this is too much. Where's the exaggeration? I'm your only sister, and you still think this isn't enough? You ungrateful little thing." I laughed and shook my head. Heh. No way. I know you're the best to me, big brother. But I didn't invite that many people, though. I glanced at the endless array of desserts and fruit wines below. I already invited everyone for you. By the way, Mom has a gift for you in the study. You should go get it. I lifted the hem of my dress and ran towards the study. When I entered the hall, many people had already arrived. Mom and Dad were downstairs welcoming guests, and there were quite a few familiar uncles and aunts. I quickly walked up to my mom and spun around in front of her. She smiled at me. "I knew this gift would be perfect for you. The crown was from your father. Do you like it?" I affectionately linked my arm with hers and nodded, answering that I liked it. When Felix arrived, I spotted him immediately and walked quickly towards him. He was a head shorter than me, but the suit fit him well, highlighting his broad shoulders and long legs. He looked unexpectedly good. "Desk mate. Happy birthday." He held out a bag in front of me, tied with a pink ribbon. I've organized the key points and real test papers. I immediately took it, opened it, and found several notebooks neatly stacked inside. Thank you. Genius. I love this gift. When it came time for me to cut the cake, Ethan finally arrived, along with Stella. From my vantage point, I could see Stella in a blue gown, clinging to Ethan's arm. There were many eyes on them. I froze for a moment but then picked up the knife and cut the cake. I was celebrating my birthday, turning 18 this year. I didn't wait for Ethan to arrive like I usually did, stubbornly waiting for him to be the one to complete my birthday. Halfway through the party, I took a break and went out to the balcony to enjoy the cool breeze. "Mom, how many times do I have to tell you? I really like Stella. Can you stop pressuring me?" The voice came from my left, and I didn't interrupt. A night school breeze felt refreshing. Ethan, I've told you so many times. I'm not stopping you from falling in love. But at least don't let it affect your studies. Look at what's happening now. You're wasting your time on her. Not only that, you're also spending every night taking care of her mom, putting in both money and effort. Whose child are you? There are plenty of better people out there. Lulu is a good kid too. Why do you insist on defying me for her again and again? Margaret's voice was clear. One word after another, followed by Ethan's slightly angry tone. Mom, I don't like Lulu. Not in the past, not now, and not in the future. Please give up on this. Shut up. Today is Lulu's birthday. I don't want to argue with you. Her words were final. But I no longer felt hurt by them. Margaret. When they saw me, they seemed surprised. Especially Ethan. I walked over and, with grace, linked my arm with Margaret's. Margaret, I've always thought of Ethan as my neighbor's older brother. If you like me, it's not impossible to consider me as your godreader. I meant it sincerely, and Margaret just smiled at me. My mom was looking for you earlier. Margaret left. And only Ethan and I remained in the room. For the past few months, every time we met, it hadn't been pleasant. I didn't like the state these unavoidable arguments and meaningless interactions. Let's talk. I'm sorry. Just now, Ethan apologizing to me was something I hadn't expected, but I didn't really care. Ethan, let's call it quits. I told you, I don't like you anymore. It's not out of spite. And I'm not joking. I spoke calmly and seriously. At this moment, no emotion was stirred inside me because of Ethan. Are you serious? Lulu? Ethan looked at me, and I didn't understand why he seemed like I was betraying him. I'm serious, I answered firmly. And he gave a slight laugh. Lulu, you've liked me for so many years. Can you really forget me? You're so slow. Are you really going to waste the next few years liking someone else? Will that person be better than me? Ethan said. And I just listened. By the end, I didn't feel numb, but relieved. I knew, for sure, I had truly let him go. I had liked Ethan for so many years over something small. I'm not sure if I want to have many more people to like, but at this moment, I'm sure I don't like you anymore. If we don't need to contact each other, let's not cross paths again. I have my own life. I don't want to be involved in yours. Whether it's people or things. After saying that, I turned and left without looking back. See, leaving someone isn't hard. When I was young, I thought I couldn't live without him. I stubbornly followed him for 10 years. Then, after tears had dried, I decided to leave. I thought it would take a long time to get over this relationship. But now I could calmly say the words, I don't like you. Letting go isn't hard. In the end, the last words Ethan left me were, Lulu, don't regret it. The June exams came as expected. When I entered the exam hall, Felix had arrived as well. The difference this time was that he brought me breakfast. Aren't you getting a recommendation? I've been studying hard for over 10 years. I still want to take the entrance exam. The important part is that if I become the top scorer in the city, there's a reward. And the school gives a lot of benefits. Felix said beside me as I ate the egg pancake he brought me. I looked up at him in surprise. So confident? It's all about strength. Besides, with my tutoring, you should be more confident. Desk mate. When I win the reward, I'll buy you a gift. I nodded vigorously. The exams passed quickly. And after finishing, I found out that Ethan had missed one of his exams. I didn't know the reason. When the results came out, Felix really did take the top spot in the city. I received a message from him. He said he never lied. I would get what I wanted. My results came out too. Not bad. But applying to Peking University seemed a bit risky. That summer, I applied to Peking University. Uncertain of the result. I also received a gift from Felix. A handmade crocheted rabbit. Incredibly cute. I didn't see Ethan until the end of August. I had successfully entered Peking University. I'm going abroad. That was the first thing Ethan said to me when he saw me. Good luck. We were silent for a long time. I heard you got into Peking University. Yeah. That's good. Thanks. We went back and forth with our conversation. And perhaps Ethan could tell I didn't want to engage with him too much. The last question he asked me was, "Did you want to get into Kyoto University for me?" Was it for Ethan? A long time ago. Yes. Long ago. He said he wanted to apply to the finance department at Kyoto University. And I said I would too. Back then. He told me to keep going. Never doubted me. Even though my grades were far from good. To the point that I was at the bottom of the class. Everyone thought it was a pipe dream. When I talked about it with my classmates, I was ridiculed. Ethan said, "Where there's a will, there's a way." We agreed to apply to Kyoto University together. I remembered it for a long time how I had once fearlessly chased after his footsteps. Now, I regret it. Lulu. I didn't answer. I once read a line in a book. If you don't care, you won't be disappointed. I used that to describe my feelings for Ethan. When I was young, I cared too much about him. And even the smallest thing would ripple through my heart. Sometimes happy, sometimes sad. My emotions swept me along. Later, I forced myself to care less. Even if it was just a little. Even if it was slower. It didn't matter. Now, life is so long. And the most important thing is still yourself. If I hadn't made up my mind, I think, at this moment, I might still feel hurt about Ethan and Stella's relationship. I would feel jealous, angry, disappointed, and heartbroken. But that isn't how I feel now. I'm relieved. I looked at Ethan's face. The one I had followed for 10 years. The person who had given me warmth, comfort, hope, and also the person who had given me sadness. I've let go of it all. Whether it's good or bad, it no longer concerns me. So I could say to him openly, "Wishing you all the best, brother Ethan." When Ethan left, he made sure to give me a gift for my 18th birthday. But I never opened it. Stella came to find me. Her grades weren't very good. And I heard she didn't even get into a second-tier university. The next time I saw her, she had dark circles under her eyes. Visibly exhausted. Lulu, you've won. You don't need to do anything. Your future is already limitless. But no matter how hard I tried, my life is still a mess. I broke up with Ethan. Are you happy now? I used to think of him as the sunshine in my life. But I shouldn't have looked at him as my salvation. Expecting to soar. You rich people really are lucky. I used to think the college entrance exam could change my fate. But you all can easily go abroad and get a golden education. Life really is unfair. She said a lot that day. And by the end, she was crying. Are you happy now? Look at me. I have nothing left. I didn't understand why she had so much hostility towards me. Why should your life have anything to do with me? She stood there, crying and laughing. Laughing and crying. What a strange person. I ignored her, called a cab, and left. That summer, aside from one wish being fulfilled and a rabbit, I never received any more news about Felix. In September, I stepped onto a new campus. Kyoto University was huge. With people coming and going. Desk partner. What a coincidence. In the next moment, Felix appeared in front of me, the sunlight shining on his hair. And he smiled brilliantly. I smiled back. In this golden September, I got what I had wished for. Extra one. It was raining heavily the day Ethan left. He was about to leave for a distant place. But still, he wanted to see Lulu one last time. The person who had followed him for 10 years. The person who had spent 10 years with him. Not just 10 years. She really was resolute and heartless. As for Stella, when I first saw her, she smiled with a hint of childishness. Later, he did like Stella. But feelings like that, not very deep to begin with, can easily fade away. Ethan felt that she didn't really care about Stella. And in their later interactions, it seemed that everything revolved more around Lulu. She kept her distance from Stella, made friends with others, and chatted easily with them, laughing freely. He was holding on to a grudge, and that made him want to treat Stella better. He couldn't even tell if he was doing it for Lulu to see. Lulu was naive, slow to react, not very smart, generous, always smiling, afraid of being wronged, a little cowardly. But sometimes she was inexplicably resolute. He had seen it, but never expected that this kind of resolve would be directed at him. Ethan didn't want to bow to Lulu. But later, when he wanted to, it was too late. The day he broke up with Stella, she cried and begged him not to. Perhaps it was only after losing something that one could see it from a different perspective. It seemed that he had indeed done many overbearing things to Lulu because of Stella. Facing Stella's heart-connecting tears, it was strange. But Ethan felt no emotions in his heart. When you don't like someone, you just don't like them. I thought admitted that. He had realized it a long time ago, and didn't need time to confirm it. As for Stella, he didn't feel guilty. On the contrary, he had put a lot into that relationship. So, when he left, he didn't look back. Lulu got into Kyoto University. When Ethan found out, he felt an impulse to repeat the year and applied to Kyoto University as well. That was the promise he and Lulu had made. But later, there was no later. When Ethan looked into Lulu's eyes, he knew. There was no turning back. Everyone said that silly Lulu wasn't silly at all. She was so firm in her resolve. Later, Ethan thought about all the terrible things he had done to Lulu, hoping for her to turn back, but each thing just pushed her further away. Ethan asked himself countless times, did he like Lulu? Many years later, he understood that it wasn't just liking. It was love. As for the future, he received Lulu's wedding invitation, and could only wish her happiness. Later, memories flooded back. Ethan, why do ants move homes? Ethan, why do we have to learn math? Ethan, why are you smarter than me? Ethan, my desk mate is a genius who constantly improves. But she never listens in class. And after school, she plays around with the school bully. Because she often brings me the latest practice books. I try to advise her that only by studying hard can she maintain her good grades. She brushes it off, calling herself a genius. That is, until one day, while I was solving problems in the classroom, a barrage of comments appeared in front of me. The supporting character is studying so hard, I almost feel sorry for her. This is the ultimate cheat sheet for the protagonist. It's thanks to her that she got into King University. Yeah. After all those years of hard work, it must be unbearable to end up as someone else's stepping stone. The protagonist doesn't even leave a single point for her. The barrage of comments kept flashing. But my heart gradually sank. I transferred to this school in my senior year, so I had almost no friends. The only person who would speak to me was my desk mate, who would bring me snacks. She doesn't listen in class. And after school, she plays around with the school bully. Yet her grades keep improving. I advised her to put in more effort. With her talent, her grades could improve even further, but she wouldn't listen. It turns out that so-called talent and grades were all stolen. Who would bother to put in effort if they could get something without paying the price? As I was lost in thought, a cup of coffee was placed in front of me. You know, came Serafina's voice from beside me. You need to study hard. But you also need to take care of your health. If you feel sick just before the exam, and you can't take it the next day, it would be a real loss. Usually, I would think she was genuinely concerned about me. But after seeing the barrage of comments in front of me, I realized just how wrong I was. I got this coffee for you. Make sure you study hard. She smiled, pushing the coffee closer to me. Don't let me down. The university genius. Thank you, I said, taking a sip from the coffee in front of me. I still believed that as long as I hadn't lost my value to her, she wouldn't harm me. Well, I'll leave you to study then. I watched her skip out of the classroom, kissing the school bully at the door. A smile curled on my lips. Did she plan to use my grades for her college entrance exam? Then, let out a low sigh. As you wish. But before that, I needed to figure out how she was exchanging her grades. The opportunity came quickly. During the second mock exam, she was seated right next to me. Once the test papers were handed out, I wrote my name at the top. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Serafina close her eyes as if she were praying. The protagonist is looking for her next target. I wonder who she'll choose this time. I bet it's Zuyuyu. Zuyuyu just swapped places with Shanghai last time. And their scores are only 5 places apart. The protagonist's cheating system swaps the scores of the person she stole from last time with the new target. That's how she manages to steal this time's scores. Yes. If the genius suddenly drops dramatically in her scores, people will start to question it. And this system can only swap a score once with each person. Otherwise, the protagonist would have bound the supporting character and kept absorbing her scores. From the comments, I learned some key information. Serafina could only swap scores with one person once. When the results of the mock exam came out, Serafina had indeed taken Zuyu's usual score and climbed to the 50th rank in the grade. Meanwhile, Zuyu and Zhang Hai's scores overlapped, both ranking 55th. The person whose score was replaced would have the same score as the last person the protagonist swapped with. Once she picked a new target, that person's score would return. I went through the previous exams and confirmed that this was the case. So, the score I had received should be from the person Serafina replaced last time. Why did the barrage say that Serafina didn't leave me any points? Nira. Look. I've improved by 5 places again. I told you. I'm just naturally talented. She flashed a proud smile at me, holding the few exam results that didn't belong to her. She walked around the class, showing off, basking in praise that wasn't hers. When the bell rang, she returned to her seat, still basking in her pride. As expected, the teacher praised her again. I watched her stand on the podium, politely sharing her insights. And 3 words flashed through my mind: thief. The class soon ended, and her romantic interest walked through the back door of the classroom. Serafina, there's a party tonight. Don't forget to come. Kane hugged Serafina from behind her desk, reluctant to leave. The sounds of intimacy reached my ears, and it was hard to concentrate on my problems. Could you guys go outside? This is a classroom. I expressed my discomfort. Who do you think you are? When Kane saw my face, the curse he was about to utter froze on his lips, his eyes showing a hint of surprise. Hey. Beautiful. How about coming out with us tonight? Before I could respond, Serafina quickly intervened. Kane let out a low sigh. Nira is a good student. We can't waste her study time. Let's go, she said, pulling Kane out of the classroom, though his gaze remained fixed on me. It was sticky and disgusting. I didn't know what Kane and Serafina discussed, but after the evening study session, she came over and tried to convince me to join their party. Can you? Nira. You're my best friend. Don't agree. She wants to sell you out to that group of people. Kane took money from those thugs, and was originally going to sell Serafina, but he saw the opportunity to make Nira replace her. How can the protagonist be so vile? How can someone like this be the main character? It's despicable. I put my pen down and rested my head on my hand, turning to look at her. I could tell she was nervous. I really want to go with you, but if I do, it'll interfere with my study progress. I sighed, sounding regretful. If I don't get into King University, I'll be really upset. After hearing my words, she pulled out her phone, opened the chat interface, and sent a few messages. She patted my shoulder. I'll go ahead. I packed my test papers into the drawer and watched as Serafina's figure disappeared into the darkness. I returned to my dorm early today, washed up, and lay in bed, lost in thought. During this time, I couldn't help but wonder what I had done to offend Serafina, to the point that she would deliberately harm me. Perhaps jealousy was the dark force that had been growing wildly from the beginning, stalking me since day one. Human nature might always be like this. If it weren't for these hinting comments, I might have truly lost my mind. I retrieved the MP3 that was buried under the corner of my blanket and played some English dialogues, gradually suppressing my inner turmoil. Serafina came back very late, tiptoeing so as not to wake anyone in the dorm. The sound of water in the bathroom ran for quite a while. Finally, Serafina came out of the bathroom, wrapped in a towel. Her footsteps stopped, and she leaned against my bed, her hair loose, looking like a ghost from a horror film. The moonlight from the balcony cast its glow on her back. What is the female lead trying to do? She looks terrifying. Just because the second female lead didn't take her place? I thought this was a school romance novel. What happened? Why does it feel like a horror movie now? I slowly turned my head and met her stark black and white eyes. Serafina didn't expect me to look at her. And she stepped back, bumping into the balcony door. The sound startled Luna, who was lying on the lower bunk. Luna turned on her desk lamp, and I could finally see Serafina clearly. Her collarbone, not covered by the towel, was visible, and her arms were covered in scars, some from cigarette burns, others from ambiguous marks. Serafina hugged herself with her arms, trying to hide the wounds on her body. Turn it off. It's time for lights out. Don't you know? Oh. Okay. Luna replied drowsily, her voice thick with sleep. She switched off the light, and all that remained of Serafina was a vague silhouette. That glare the female lead just gave her was terrifying. Like a ghost out of hell, coming to collect a soul. The scars on the female lead's body are horrifying. This is probably when she started hating the second female lead. But wasn't it her own choice? How can she blame someone else for her own actions? I turned back over. Turned on my MP3 again. And until sleep overtook me. I closed my eyes and drifted off. The next day, after the incident, I couldn't stay at school anymore. So I took some time off. When Serafina came to ask me about it, I had already packed my bag and was ready to go home. Nira, what's going on? Why did you take leave all of a sudden? She grabbed my hand. Her gaze filled with concern. With no hint of pretense. Just pure longing for Kingda University. The other night, you were standing by my bed and scared me. I consulted the school doctor. And they said it was an anxiety reaction. If this keeps up, it could cause trauma. So I took leave. Also, so. You hurt me. I pulled my hand out of hers, which had turned red from how tightly she was gripping it. She seemed unaccustomed to my cold attitude and grabbed my sleeve again. When will you be back? How long will you be in treatment? Will this trauma affect your grades? I shook my head. I'm not sure yet. If recovery is quick, it should take about a week. If it's slow, maybe a month. A month? That means you'll fall behind a lot. She widened her eyes, looking at me in disbelief. The college entrance exams are really important. Nira, you've worked so hard. You definitely don't want to mess them up. Why don't you just stay and rest after the exams are over? I turned, slinging my bag over my shoulder. No, I think my health is more important. She stamped her foot in frustration. Nira, if you walk out that door today, we're not friends anymore. Who cares if you're my friend? I don't need a leech of a friend. I stepped out of the classroom, feeling like the air outside was much fresher. When I got home, my parents had already made a feast for me, including my favorite braised spare ribs. After dinner, I told my parents I still wanted to pursue the competition route and didn't want to take the college entrance exam anymore. Based on my experiences from the first 2 years of high school, it wouldn't be hard to pick it back up. Of course, I hadn't given up on the knowledge from my 3rd year, because after I returned, there would still be an exam waiting for me. A month later, I slung my backpack over my shoulder and walked back into the classroom. My classmates' strange gazes were upon me. When I got to my desk, it was covered with various filthy words. Who did this? I swept my gaze over everyone. I did it. What's wrong? You've been with Serafina for so long. But now you can't handle a few words written on your desk? I heard she came to our school for the 3rd year just because she was with Serafina before. What's the use of being good at studying? In the end, she's just scum. Our second female lead is such a sweetie. I don't remember this part from the original plot. Could it be because the second female lead took leave? The second female lead was scared by the female lead, and now they're blaming everything on her? How frustrating. It's the female lead who's the victim. And yet they're all giving their sympathy to the second female lead. I feel so powerless. Like my fists can't punch through the screen. Seeing the comments supporting me, I felt a bit moved. I looked at Serafina, who had moved to the furthest corner of the room. Serafina, you said I did this. But do you have any proof? Serafina turned her back, leaning into her new desk mate's arms. She didn't say anything. But her silence spoke volumes. That's enough. You can't keep bullying people like this. Serafina won't even talk to you anymore. Look at the campus post and then say something. Luna stood in front of me and opened her phone, clicking on a campus post. I took her phone and started reading. The post contained pictures of Serafina's burn marks on her arms, along with accusations from my good friends from my previous school. Mira. She isolates all of us because she's good at studying, attacking us mentally. Agreed. She's been at the top of the grade rankings for years. But I didn't expect her to be this kind of person. As Nira's good friend in the first and second years of high school, I've been emotionally abused by her for so long. Which is why I'm taking a break from school. I thought she'd calm down after leaving our school. But it seems like she's still tormenting classmates at the new school. She's pure scum. If these pictures and this post can prove I did this, I have nothing to say. I said. They thought I would argue, defend myself. But I simply accepted it. However, I added, I'll take screenshots of this post and hold you all accountable. Whether it's true or not, you know for yourselves. The once aggressive group now exchanged uneasy glances. They only ever saw me buried in my papers, working on exercises, eating and sleeping in between. I cleaned the stains from my desk and quietly began my own test. After that, no one ever mentioned the incident again. After school, I opened my phone and found the recording of Serafina. I confronted her. Why did you slander me? Saying I was the one who hurt you? I never did anything like that. She glanced around, saw no one, and suddenly burst into tears. I'm sorry. Nira. I thought you wouldn't come back. I was really left with no choice. Kane is just a scumbag. He posted my photos online, letting netizens criticize me. And then some classmates saw them. I didn't want to make a scene. And since I thought you wouldn't come back. So, you posted that to slander me? Serafina quickly waved her hands. No, that wasn't me. It was one of your old classmates. Your good friend. She asked me to help expose you. You know me. We've always been good friends. She put on an innocent expression, as if everything was someone else's fault. Then help me clear this up. I watched her silence and decided not to press her further. Alright. Let's leave it at that. I won't hold you accountable. You'd better be careful. Having gotten what I wanted, the days passed peacefully. During the final mock exam, Serafina didn't show up. Classmates speculated if it was because I returned and she had been marked as a target again. Or maybe something else. But I stayed right under their noses. So I had no chance to do anything to Serafina. Only I knew she had taken a week off. And during those 7 days, the barrage was very active. Did the protagonist go for an abortion? Whose baby is it? Oh my god. The protagonist was so crazy in the beginning of the novel. I can't even imagine how someone like her became the main character. I hope it wasn't just the author's imagination. I think the protagonist is right. One must look out for themselves. Or else disaster will strike. You're an idiot. Go get your ears checked. Serafina's abortion was exactly what I expected. After all, someone who valued her grades so much wouldn't just skip school for no reason. Serafina came back 7 days later. The grades from the exam were posted on the board, and my name was clearly at the top. It was even higher than the grades I had before I took time off. Serafina stared at it for a long time, her fingers caressing my scores, her coveted treasure. Nira, didn't you say your grades might drop? You came first again. That's amazing. Your grades haven't fallen. Well, I've tried my best. Maybe I won't do well in the college entrance exam. Why? Your grades are so good. I lowered my eyes, pretending to look disappointed, and took out a small bottle of medicine from under my desk. I popped 2 pills into my mouth. Her attention shifted to the bottle in my hand. What's this? It's just. I was mentally affected. And the doctor said I shouldn't be under any more stress. Otherwise, I could make permanent damage. That post affected me too much. And I haven't been able to sleep properly. I can't focus on lessons. And my hands keep shaking. I asked you to clear it up before. But you wouldn't. Probably because you had your reasons. I squeezed out some tears. my eyes brimming with them as I shakily put the pills back into the drawer. I looked like I had been deeply affected. She reached out and grabbed my shoulders. Don't be scared, Mira. It was my fault. I didn't know it would affect you this much. I'll clear things up. Please trust me. I'll fix this. Mira. Please stay strong. I took a tissue and wiped away my tears. Nodding at her, I stood up, hugged her, and whispered in her ear. I believe in you, Serafina. I think the supporting character has woken up. She's really got a strong hold on the protagonist's mind. If the supporting character could see our comments, she'd nod. You're my cyber champion. Serafina acted quickly. That very night, a post shot up to the trending list in no time. Clarification post: the injuries were not caused by Nira. The comment section was full of spectators. I knew Nira wasn't that kind of person. She's quiet and even helped me with problems before. You guys didn't believe me. But now the truth is out. Why didn't Serafina speak up earlier? She let Nira take the blame for so long. I apologized to Nira for not seeing things clearly. Gossip: Serafina and Kane are dating. Maybe Kane was the one who hurt her. As an old classmate, I have to say, Nira has always been hardworking. A student who claimed she dropped out was actually someone who couldn't keep up with Nira's pace, and her mental state couldn't handle it. The post sparked heated discussions. Clearing up the 80 accusation against Serafina and digging up old stories from my previous school. Most of the comments were apologies directed at me. I put my phone away, thinking that this matter would finally come to an end, but fate wouldn't let me rest. After Serafina's clarification post, the real culprit, Kane, went on a low sigh, was exposed. He was given a written warning by the school, and in his anger, he found Serafina during the break and slapped her hard. You bitch. I told you if you dared to say anything, I'd ruin you. Kane grabbed Serafina by the hair and dragged her from the classroom into the hallway. Let go of me. Kane went out a low sigh. You piece of trash. Their commotion attracted a crowd, with students from the next class peeking in. Serafina was hitting Kane's hand that was tearing at her hair with one hand, while holding her own head with the other. Kane slapped her again and again. You dared to post about this at school. I told you if you exposed me, you'd pay for it. You said you'd bring Nira out, but then you backed out. My guys have been waiting for ages. You slut. Kane was really vicious. The first slap knocked one of Serafina's teeth out. You bastard. You demon. You can do whatever you want to me, but I won't let you hurt my friend. Help. Someone. Stop him. As Serafina's face turned red and swollen from the slaps, the onlookers couldn't stay silent anymore. Two boys rushed up and pulled Kane off of her. As Kane was being dragged away, he didn't forget to kick Serafina a couple more times. Blood appeared at the corner of her mouth. Some of the spectators who hadn't known about the situation before now learned the truth from their conversation. I sat at my desk and glanced over, locking eyes with Serafina for a moment. I didn't miss the flash of hatred in her eyes. Serafina. Luna pushed through the crowd, rushing to support the staggering Serafina. Nira. How could you be like this? Didn't you see Serafina get hit? Do you have no compassion at all? She's always treated you as her best friend. And this is how you repay her? How selfish can you be? She was only trying to protect you, you heartless thing. At Luna's accusations, I rolled my eyes. My chest tightened, and I clutched it, breathing fast. My trembling hands fumbled under the desk for the small bottle of vitamins. No matter how I shook it, nothing came out. Serafina shoved Luna aside, snatched the bottle from my hands, and fed me 2 pills. What are you doing, Luna? What does this have to do with Nira? Her hand gently patted my back in a soothing rhythm. Luna, still sprawled on the floor, looked stunned. She stood up for Serafina only to be pushed away in return. Serafina, I'm done helping you, she muttered and slumped back into her seat. Sometimes, people really should learn who's worth helping. The commotion brought the homeroom teacher rushing in. As a result, Kane's punishment went beyond mere detention. He was expelled. The story wasn't over. The play had only just begun. I poured Serafina a glass of water and dabbed iodine on her bruised face with gentle care. I didn't mean to just stand there. I was terrified. I'm sorry. Wait. Isn't that supposed to be the heroine's line? Our supporting girl is too clever, she's learning fast. Don't get too attached. She'll lose everything to the heroine anyway. The higher the hope, the deeper the despair. I curved my lips faintly. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Serafina's face was pale. She kept rubbing the red and spot on her cheek, even though resentment was about to spill from her eyes. She forced a smile. It's okay. Nira. We're best friends. I don't blame you. Luna, watching from a distance, looked like she'd swallowed a fly. After this scene, many people realized I'd been wronged and even came to apologize. But it didn't affect Serafina. In their eyes, she was still a victim to fright and to testify. That was all. It took her a long while to coax Luna back around. A delicate flower like Serafina never left anyone behind. The college entrance exams arrived swiftly. Serafina and I were assigned to neighboring rooms. For days she barely left my side, afraid that my emotions might flare again and affect the exam. Seeing me walk into the hall full of energy, she finally looked relieved. Nira, you must do well. Everything you've worked for comes down to this. Her excitement was almost infectious. I hoped she'd be just as thrilled when the results came out. I'll do my best. You too, good luck. Go ahead and steal my scores. If you can. When the exams ended, Serafina asked how I did. I sighed, clasping my hands behind my back and shaking my head. Her throat tightened. She seemed unable to speak. Was it that bad? She asked, her hands trembling. If I said yes, she'd probably strangle me right here. I'm kidding. I'll definitely make it into Tingsua. That's wonderful. She threw her arms around me, overjoyed as if she were the one who'd gotten in. Since your Tingsua spot's practically secured, there's a new KED nearby. Let's go sing and relax. No thanks. I'll pass. I valued my life and my chance to enjoy sweet and sour ribs again. Serafina wasn't ready to give up. She draped an arm around my shoulder, linking our arms together. Consider it an early celebration for getting into Tingsua. I've improved a lot. While you were on leave, maybe I'll end up at the same school as you. I scratched my head, hesitant. My parents are waiting for me to come home for dinner. Why are you so obsessed with being friends with Nira? Luna's voice came from behind us. She didn't even help you when you were in trouble. Why are you still dragging her along? Oh, Luna. How could I ever forget you? Serafina cooed, pressing close to her and looping her arm around my shoulders again. Come on. Let's all go together. I swear I saw the heroine plotting with Kane to kill the supporting girl. Where are the cyber police? Somebody save her. I refused firmly. I had no intention of getting caught in their mess, but I couldn't stand watching Luna being used again. So before leaving, I slipped a miniature tracking and listening device into Luna's backpack. As I watched Serafina lead her away from the school, I called the police. Meanwhile, Kane and his men were already waiting in ambush, ready for Serafina to bring me her supposed friend to them. She'd better not be lying, Kane muttered, blowing a smoke ring. If she screws me over, I'll break her dim legs and plaster her photos all over the internet. He turned to his men. Check everything. Make sure it all goes perfectly. I want that girl in the boss's room by midnight. Luna grew uneasy after walking down a dim alley. Serafina. Where are we going? Almost there. Serafina said, clutching her stomach suddenly. Luna. My stomach hurts. Wait here a bit, okay? Moments later, the listening device crackled with screams, chaos, shouting, then sirens. At the police station, after giving my statement, I ran into Luna just as I was leaving. Was it you who saved me? Why did you? Her question caught me off guard. Because once, a girl went through the same thing. Memories flooded back to my first year of high school. When I met